Dire team ban.
What's up, guys, and welcome back to MDL. This is going to be the, I guess we could call it conclusion of the group stage, at least for Group B here. We got SQG going up against Mad Lads. Both these teams did lose their first round yesterday, and the winner of this has faced up against going in a best of 3 that's happening right after this. So we don't have quite as much Dota today, but you know what? Hopefully it should still be pretty good. We get to see Mad Lads and Cinder and Stack one more time, see if they can perform a little bit better. Of course, a lot of high hopes for that group. I'm Mikelorus, going to be joined by Rime for this day as well. Dude, how you doing today?
I'm awake, I'm alive. I haven't had my microphone confiscated from me, so it's all good.
Takes a while to get over there. Rest assured, we are working on that.
Yeah, eventually someone will stop me from broadcasting to the internet, I don't know when. But until they do, I'm still here.
Well,
alright.
Yeah, both
Best of one!
Both these sides have a little bit of difficulty. Just a little bit. I think Mad Lads, I think they just needed a little bit of a different strategy. Maybe, I think their strategies were a little bit off, or, you know, maybe it was their execution in that strategy, whatever the reason, like, their strategy wasn't matching up with how they were actually playing. SQG definitely looking a little bit stronger than Mad Lads, I'll say.
I would definitely favor Mad Lads here. Absolutely. SQG took a game off Kingwin, but I don't think... Assuming that there were lessons learned yesterday, I think Mad Lads should win. If they didn't learn, and they're in fact
10 seconds remaining.
Very silly, then they would lose. Probably. I don't know. It's like...
5 seconds
It's hard to really say. We got a Tusk first pick, and probably going to be like a Witch Doctor +1 opening. Oh no, Bane, actually. They really like Bane here.
Dude,
Cinder has kind of gone towards the Bane recently a lot.
Cinderin has picked Bane for himself, like, since he's captained Dota ever. Like, since Bane has been at all a viable pick, that's been, like, Cinderin's go-to.
10 seconds remaining.
I don't really know why. I guess he just really likes it.
No, he likes picking around it. It takes no space, it makes space, it wins lanes. It can smoke gank. It's like... It's just generally an all-round decent support. It's like the kind of support where if someone first picks it in your pub, you're like, nice, this game feels winnable. You know, it's that kind of thing. Whereas, like, if you're in your pub and someone first picks Rubik, you're like, yeah, I don't know about that one. You know, it's that kind of thing. Also, Tiny. Tiny's a good hero. I may have picked him twice last night, may have lost twice, but doesn't matter, he's still a good hero.
A sample size of 2 doesn't mean anything, man. I think the sample size is definitely in favor of the Tiny in general, and we'll see what Mad Lads decide to do with it, because looking at Keizu, he's had, in the games we saw from him, a really rough time so far. Enabling him with a Tiny, maybe a Tiny with a little bit of Bane support, that's definitely a good way to get Keizu a little bit more on track here, so we'll see if Mad Lads decide to do that. Of course, the Tiny can be thrown actually anywhere, and SQG, they get their hands on the Bat Rider, and that was banned out from them in, I think, every single game yesterday.
Second phase, though. So now it's here. It has arrived. The Mad King's Bat Rider has treaded ground upon this earth. Actually, not really, because it doesn't really tread ground, but you get the idea. So that's going to be interesting. Lasso doesn't do anything to Tiny, really. Maybe you can get a 4-staff off if you're quick, but that's about it. Although the sticky napalm is fairly decent for killing Tiny, but you have to kind of press it a lot. Ooh, what is that? Okay. I will have to be right back 1 second. I'm very, very sorry.
No problem.
I don't know what that is.
Sometimes, guys, my co-casters are just way too popular. There's nothing I can do about that. I gotta vet them beforehand. Make sure they're just stay-at-home nobodies who don't have any friends and not kind of getting constantly blown up in their phone. But yeah, Bat Rider, definitely something that SQG are comfortable with here, to say the least. And versus Tiny, it definitely kind of acts like a double-edged sword. Bringing Tiny into your group, it could work if you have enough damage, but at the same time, if you don't, you may run into some really serious issues where you lasso a Tiny in, he's a little bit unkillable because he has all that status resistance, and then either you kill him and it takes a really long time, or you don't kill him because it takes so long, and then the rest of the team crashes in and you're ready to use your initiation. You're ready to use a lot of your tools to try to kill off that hero. Could get really awkward. We'll see what SQG want to pick up as far as damage is concerned. I like these bans from Mad Lads, though, quite a bit. Getting rid of the DP and the Witch Doctor.
Ooh.
The DP in particular lets them just pop exorcism off of the lasso, and that shreds the Tiny. Death Ward, maybe not as great versus killing off a Tiny, but for sure lasso anyone else, drop a Death Ward, you're good to go. So ban's certainly making a lot of sense here from the Mad Lads squad as SQG take out a couple of these one-role heroes.
Yeah, these bans seem to be a bit targeted towards the Tiny, you know, the Lifestealer. Tiny like saying that, so Tiny's happy that SQG have banned out for himself. And there's the Witch Doctor and the DP, which both heroes that Tiny hates playing against entirely. Oh, Bounty. Mad Lads have kind of taken a leaf out of the book of... Which one was it? It was the Boogie team going in that slaughtered them with Bounty. So we're going to be seeing that. And people who knock on the door. Oh, gotta hate them. All of them. Ugh, terrible thing.
5 seconds remaining.
But I'm back, so... what do you third pick here? I'm pretty sure you just pick your 5 support. But Witch Doctor's out, so you need something that can lane versus Tiny decently. Rubik might be an option, because you can steal Fiend's Grip and all that kind of thing.
Go Disruptor, still in?
Yeah, Disruptor's okay. He doesn't really get stopped by Tiny that much. He can zone him as well. You can cancel Fiend's Grip with Glimpse. Wouldn't be a bad pick, but I don't think it really... doesn't really do that much with the Bat Rider, you know, it doesn't really combo with anything. But it's okay.
Yeah, there's not a huge intersection of heroes that'll actually do that for you. You know, combo with... I mean, I guess Witch Doctor would be that hero, and he's banned out, so that's obviously not a real possibility. It should be the support for SQG, and how bad does it feel that Mad Lads, at least they said their lineup had MNT, and now we have not MNT and a Bounty Hunter. Feels pretty bad to me, but this is a hero that I was thinking about, and I'm like, nah, there's no way, because no one actually plays this hero. Undying is going to be one of those, I want to say, supports that can just get into the face of Tiny and just fistfight him. There aren't many supports that can actually do that.
You can do it up to a point, and then, well, you can... You have to kind of get some decay stacks before that, because otherwise you're in danger of getting, like, you just lose the trade with the Tree Man, and then you get tossed into tower, and then you kind of die. So you need to be very careful about that. Also, we're not really sure where this Tiny may end up. So if this Undying just follows the Tiny around, then it may end up in mid lane, and then you're still liable to get thrown into the tower as well. I have a phobia of getting thrown into the tower when I'm playing support against Tiny. I've had horrible incidents of that. But Undying... I don't really like it here, that it has to do so much in the early game. Like, Tusk and Undying kind of have to move together to get a lot done, I think, because otherwise the Bounty and Bane are going to pressure the lane so much. Joke pick.
It looks
Joke
like...
works. Good versus Bat Rider.
Yeah, I mean, the matchup versus Bat Rider is great, but the matchup versus Undying is looking like this Undying player is going to have a pretty free time. Again, you have to worry about that toss in the tower, you have to worry about Blade Fury, but at the end of the day, you're still going up against a Bounty, a Jug, these heroes that already don't have all that much HP, so taking more strength out of them is just going to destroy them. Bane and Tiny are a little bit bulkier, but I don't think they'll be able to really contest Undying at the very, very early stage unless we do have toss shenanigans. So, Mad Lads, they are picking for matchups, and the matchups they're focusing on versus Bat Rider right now. But this Undying, I don't know, is going to have a lot of early game power. And if SQG pick up something like a Terror Blade or something, which they do, then they'll be able to siege so easily and force Mad Lads to come to them.
Alright, so this TB pick is... It's kind of nice. Like, they need to make sure this TB has a decent game. It shouldn't be too difficult, but it just really depends. Do they want to put the Tiny offlane versus the Terror Blade, and then Tiny can possibly do a lot if he gets help from either Bane or Bounty? But then Undying can just kind of walk down and press decay and soul up a bit and then kind of ruin the Bounty. That's the thing. Bounty's really, really nice at roaming versus heroes that can't really do much about it. But when you're like, things come to mind. Like, I was playing a pub with fucking Mad, and what he was saying is like, whenever someone picks Bounty in my pubs, I just pick Earthshaker. And I'm going to farm these idiots for 10 games in a row and get my mama back. So he just picks Earthshaker whenever he sees someone pick Bounty. He just follows them around the map, buys dust, and just kills them whenever they do anything. Because Bounty just has real trouble roaming against any kind of like melee roaming hero that can outfight him. And Undying happens to be one of them. Because he just kind of decays you and hits you in the head. There's not really that much you can do about it. But
10 seconds.
the thing with Tusk and Undying is which one's going to be the 4, which one's going to be the 5, who's buying the wards, who's going to end up getting boots at 7 minutes, that kind of thing, you know?
It's a struggle for both of these two guys. Usually they need at least a little bit. I have a feeling that the Undying is kind of going to get the shaft here. But, you know, you get a couple kills and all of that kind of smooths over at least a little bit. So it is going to be a little bit awkward as to who's actually going to be playing the support. But you already have a Terrorblade and a Batrider on your side. So, you know, setting up for tower pushes, getting that kind of AoE gold for your entire team, it's incredibly feasible here for SQG. So they may be able to get around like the fact that Undying, Tusk, they don't actually farm at all by just taking down all the towers.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's like they need to find a mid hero that doesn't ask for anything, because currently the fact that they have like 2 greedy supports, or supports that will end up being greedy in order to do anything, they need to pick a mid that doesn't ask for anything. Yeah, Puck would be that. So Puck will sit in its lane, it will farm something, it will not ask for any farm. Puck will not be farming your woods for 5 minutes trying to get an item to do things. Puck is just going to sit there with either Veil or Blink or whatever he has, and will just join every fight possible. So you can kind of see what they're going for here, but unfortunately, Mad Lads do have last pick, but I'm not really quite sure what they're going to go for here. It's kind of open. Nothing really stands out hugely.
As far as like needs are concerned, it seems like they may have a little bit of an issue holding on to this Puck.
Maybe Storm? Elsie.
That's...
Okay, so tiny mid, Legion offlane. Yeah, that makes sense.
Dude, that
Juggernaut. They have the LC for the Batrider Lasso as well.
The Juggernaut just went ham, but yeah, I think this Legion Commander is, again, picking up into matchups. So Jug, Legion Commander, like these are very, very nice anti-Batrider matchups. This is going to be, maybe not like the most premium of Disable heroes, but just another tool they have in order to counteract that Puck. So between the Legion, the Tiny, the Bane, should have enough to, at least most of the time, handle this Puck, at least so that he doesn't run all over you. And again, if SQG are planning on just getting into position, sieging with Terrorblade, you need these long-range abilities to clear the creep wave or at least pull the aggro, and well, Legion Commander has that as well. It hits the Terrorblade incredibly hard at that, so Legion Commander, I like the pick for Mad Lads. I'm not sure if the lane is going to be too kind to her, though, because she, again, is going to be another hero that kind of has issues with Undying.
Yeah, she really does, actually. She can't really do much in the early levels. She's going to need help, or she's going to need to just be okay not getting very much, I think. I'm just looking at these matchups, like Tiny mid versus Puck. I'm fairly sure this is very one-sided towards the Tiny, simply because base damage, the tree effect. It's like, it's similar to how, you know, TA is like a really strong link out to Puck. Tiny is basically a stronger TA, except you can kind of hit the Tiny a bit more than you can the TA, so maybe that mitigating factor will allow Puck to kind of get something here. But we'll see.
And the thing is with Undying as a support hero is that he's really good at kind of applying slow pressure to the lane, but as far as actually going for the kills, that's not really what Undying does unless someone on the other team makes a big mistake. That's what the Tusk does. The Tusk walks in, he's going to get you kills after you chip them out with Undying. So they definitely do need to work together. Like if Undying camps himself over in the mid lane, yeah, he can make it very difficult for this mid lane Tiny to operate. He could harass him a lot, but you're not actually going to kill him ever.
30 seconds.
That's I got to look at Wish now. I mean, this guy played perfectly well in the last match that we saw him. He's got to make some big things happen on this Tusk, I think.
Yeah, he needs to be able to move around quite a bit, because already like they're not quite sure what the lanes are. You see Madara and Kezu just both were sitting right in the middle of mid lane until they found out what lanes were happening. And I think they've pretty much guessed it. They need to put the Legion Commander safe lane versus the Batrider, because Jug does okay, but it's nowhere near as good as having the LC there. Yeah. This Undying 5, I think he's just going to end up pulling, getting what he can, and then when he hits like level 4, which is when he gets pretty strong, you get like level 2 Sorrow up, level 2 Decay. You just kind of start fighting people. You see people go for early levels in Tombstone, but it's always underwhelming, I think, anyway.
I've never seen a level 1 Tombstone. I'm like, yeah, that won them that fight, or you know, that won them that early game engagement. It's really good to like bust down trees if you're looking for the element of surprise. But you have a Tusk on your side, so you shouldn't really need to do that. Again, if you're like diving towers or something like that, then Tombstone is an all-star. But you're really not going to be doing that until a little bit later. So yeah, I would expect that build coming out from this Undying as well. Keep in mind, guys, this is a best of 1 in the first round lower bracket. Next game, the winner of this will be playing a best of 3. So just this first loser round. Buryu Bounty Hunter is going to grab the bounty. And that's going to be quite nice for him. That's a 3-1 split.
Is this where we ask about the effect on win rates, and then I answer again that I have no idea what it actually does? Oh, this is Cinderin getting... Maybe he gets Orb of Venom here, and then he's going to have to... No, he's not going to have to do anything. He's fine.
Oh, he picked up Nightmare first. I think he tried to get that bounty, and he did get it. But now Madara going to run into Wish, and Wish needs some shards right now, but it's on cooldown. A couple more right clicks, and he got him over the shards. Well, I mean, Nightmare level 1 is usually not what you want, but he'll take a first blood.
Yeah, that just kind of worked out for him. Not quite sure about that man fighting the Bane play that was happening there, but yeah, he's going to regret that one later. Well, in fact, right now. But he's taking some revenge on Cinderin and just whacking him, because trading with a Bane when he doesn't have Brain Sap can actually work out sometimes. Just hope there isn't a Juggernaut right next to you up the hill.
Oh, and it looks like the lanes actually are going to be Kezu, you know, in the off lane, Madara in the safe lane, the usual lanes, perhaps, as you would expect from these players. But matchup-wise, as you said, it is not going to be terrible for Madara as the Juggernaut. Like, he already has that stick going, he already has that spin available. Might be a little bit more difficult for Kezu here, especially once Tricky puts up that Metamorphosis. You can't really afford to get close, and as soon as I say that, he gets close and kind of just loses all of his HP. So definitely a dangerous situation, as over in the bottom lane, Mad Kings is going to get put to sleep. The shards are blocking their path for right now, and he will be able to just fly right over those. So Batrider Tusk definitely with some mobility options here. And I don't know, Bane, Juggernaut, Bounty Hunter, these don't seem like the greatest heroes in order to actually kill off a Batrider, at least not reliably. You need like some additional level of slow or disable.
Yeah, that's about right. It's very difficult to kill this lane with 2 melee heroes and a Bane. Like, it's not the strongest killing lane in the world. You can kind of zone them out from some last hits, but still, Batrider sitting 7-2 versus 5-3.
They got Wish again.
They got him.
Dude, trying to teleport out. Didn't even get the bounty rune. Buryu has been pretty good at sneaking those invisible hands in there and grabbing that bounty. And Tusk, I said, had to do some heavy lifting. So far, he's been doing exactly the opposite. Him and the Undying just playing on opposite sides of the map. And it is still going to be, for the dire side, Terrorblade having an absolute free time. The Puck as well, and even the Batrider is getting quite a bit of golden experience. So, you know, losing your Tusk a couple times, if your cores are getting this much, is kind of acceptable here.
Yeah, I'm just looking at mid lane. I don't think Puck should be getting this much CS. I think Qualifier might be, I don't know, making a few mistakes here, but I'm not quite sure. Yeah, Kezu is just experiencing Undying in his full form. He's just following him with the creep wave, just pressing decay a whole bunch. That's very, very fun, I'm sure.
He's persistent. And then, as soon as I put the camera on him, he misses the decay. Thanks, man. Thanks for that. But yeah, Tiny over in the mid lane, I mean, he's getting a decent amount of CS as well. The Puck's base damage, especially now that he has double Null Talismans, is pretty disgustingly high. So, I mean, Tiny's always going to have more, I feel like, than any other hero in the game. But, you know, Puck being able to get this CS doesn't seem too crazy. They have been trading quite a few hits with one another. I think, like, a lot of restoratives have been consumed in this mid lane.
Yeah, I just think that I would be expecting a lower CS score for Puck and a bit higher than Ice for Tiny, but maybe I think he's been using the tree very aggressively and just like looking to trade HP a lot. And he's also doing things like this, stacking the medium camp so he gets a lot of farm. I've been watching like Excalibur play mid Tiny a bit, and he does the max true grab release for a while, and then he ends up jungling a bit, and you end up with, you know, like the old way people used to play Shadow Fiend a lot when jungling was a lot more viable. You just end up, you'd push out a lane and then you'd stack both jungle camps or something like that. Or, in fact, I remember like 2013 Storm used to do that a lot as well. But top lane we have a go on Kezu. And Kezu is
got a decent amount of healing though. One more decay from downtown.
Decay.
Gets the Legion Commander. And, I mean, they were chasing her all throughout the trees. This is a Terrorblade, a Tusk, even an Undying, and it seems like that... They get the kill, but it definitely seemed like it took a little bit longer than perhaps it ordinarily should. Again, Kezu's been having some difficulty in the games that we've seen him. In this particular game, he's pretty much neck and neck with the Bat Rider. That one death isn't going to mean the end of the world. They're going to try to go for a Puck. That is a very difficult kill, although they do have Avalanche and Toss. If they combo it properly,
Kezu needs to be very careful.
They will just fall short. Oh, no, they got him with the tree. Before the jaunt away, seems like that was the potential escape there for RVP if you just pressed that button a little bit earlier.
I was watching top lane where Kezu has had a bit of trouble again. He's actually going to strong with Cinderin now. He had TP'd back to lane and lost all of his HP. Undying and Tusk are very good at trading quite efficiently, especially with a hero like Elsie. Because normally Elsie, just when you fight with the support, there's not really much the support can do because you're like regenning and you have a lot of damage, but it doesn't quite matter here. No Metamorphosis, so it's prime time to move up and pressure this Terrorblade. Wish sharded himself away, so he's going to be safe from Bounty and Elsie for now.
I don't know that there's a bounty. I don't believe they see... Okay, they definitely see the Bane. So that was not quite as sneaky as perhaps he was hoping for. And the problem with this is that, yeah, there's no Metamorphosis on the Terrorblade, but there's also, like, no magic damage or no non-physical damage on this top side. You have, like, a level 1... Oh, level 2 Brain Stab. That's actually not bad. But it's still not enough to kill off a Terrorblade, especially when he has the Infused Raindrop to block the overwhelming odds. So, I don't see them being able to kill this Terrorblade with this set of heroes really ever. They need a Tiny involved, they need a Juggernaut involved, and neither of these two heroes are going to be willing to leave because they're just getting so much out of their lane already.
Speaking of so much out of the lane, now Tiny's got his level 3 in True Grab, so he's actually going to be hitting a lot of creeps. He does not intend to combo anyone anytime soon. Also, there's a TP top with a Tusk looking towards killing Kezu. They've got the Metamorphosis up in 2 seconds, but Ryu has scouted up his TP, so Kezu should be okay, maybe.
Well, you say that.
Or he's just going to die.
Cut him off, and he's going to be walled off away from the tree path. Still getting a decent amount of healing, but there's way too much damage on him. They do kill off Kezu, get 200 Gs, but Ryu swoops in and kills off the Tombstone, so he gets 120 gold. Like, that exchange is obviously good for SQG, but it's still really, really expensive for an offlane kill, especially when, on the other end, the offlane is dying without giving up a Tombstone. That's an Omni Slash from Madara killing off Mad Kings.
I still think Kezu had prior warning of that. They saw the Tusk TP in. They knew that was going to happen. I guess they didn't know the Undying was there. Well, I don't know. Dying there seems a bit weird. But
now they're going to try to pick a fight with Tricky, and now they're going to realize, oh wait, we don't have any damage. And Biryu is going to be punished for that. Wand charges, Snowball is going to counter that. Actually, that's just a Soul Rip kill. And
okay, so Daffy's actually going 1-1-2, so he's
Tombstone here. So yeah, they are going to get set up for this eventual push.
Oh, there's a sleep onto the Puck, but I don't think Tiny's going to be in range to... Oh no, just barely. And is he dead? No.
Oh, couple more right clicks, short jaunt away, Qualifier. He, yeah, didn't quite get the tree toss there. Shards will wall off Cinderin. It's really awkward for the Bane, but there's no control here. Only 1 point in Snowball to maybe close some distance, but after that, then they definitely have no control. So, unfortunately, failed kill attempt on the Puck. But, you know, not getting the kill on the Puck still is going to force him out of the lane for a little bit. Tiny can continue to push the wave and just toss everything at this Undying. Tiny's going to go for the Shadow Blade first, and that type of item is exactly what they need if they're ever going to kill off this TB.
Yeah, Shadow Blade lets you go into enemy woods, it lets you search for the kill, it lets you do a lot more damage as well. It gives you, like, finding a kill on a Puck with a Blink Dagger is almost impossible, because it means you have to start the kill off with a toss, you have to Blink toss him, and then you Avalanche, which means the combo will do less damage, also less stun time. And if you have a Shadow Blade, you can just kind of find him, start with Avalanche, hit, and then combo like that, and Puck usually just dies. So Shadow Blade is the preferable choice, because also it does give you right-click damage. And Tiny, he can be a comboer, he can be this ganker, but above all, he is a right-clicker. Or rather, he should be in a draft like this.
What's Madara working with? He's going to go for the Battle Fury build. This is the build that he went for in that Phantom Lancer game, and they just got run over. It doesn't seem like that's necessarily going to happen here. If the Tiny can pick up the Shadow Blade at a reasonable time, and it looks like that is going to happen, the Juggernaut can get this Battle Fury, and it looks like that might just go unpunished. There is a little bit of illusion clear, I suppose, for the enemy TB, for what that's worth. But yeah, Jug definitely going to go for a little bit of farming instead of getting the early stat build.
Yeah, I think what they're going for here is they're going to pressure the Terrorblade a bit with this LC, making sure the TB can't absolutely free farm. You know, like a free farm Terrorblade would be sitting at like 70 CS right now. Similar to what the Tiny's at, but instead he's sitting at 55 or 57. He's got a kill, but he's not really doing super amazing. He's near the top of the net worth, but it could be worse in regards to like Mad Lad's perspective, you know. So what they're trying to do is just get a lot of farm, and then when there may be an item ahead of the Terrorblade on at least one of these cores, they can just run him over. But sometimes it doesn't quite work out like that.
They do have the duel at the ready from Kezu, plus he does have the maxed out overwhelming odds. This Legion Commander is ready to go if he's going to have a way to get in. Of course, that's always the problem for Legion Commander. How the hell do you get in the first place? But usually at this point, we see Legion Commanders try to go into some other lanes and try to smoke gank or something like that. Hasn't really been happening. You could just easily Nightmare into a duel. Like, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Someone on a Bat Rider, that's a very easy way to get the kill. The Puck as well is a little more difficult, but certainly feasible. But you're still just camping up on this top lane.
Well, for one, they need to get the level 6 on Cinderin, so they're going to give him mid lane, while Tiny's going to finish off his Shadowblade in the jungle. And as for the supports on SQG, we've got level 4 Tusk and level 4 Undying at 11 minutes. So they are suffering. And speaking of Mad Kings, he's going to kill the Jug with the help of RVP.
Tried to go for the spin, tried to go for the Omni Slash. This Bat Rider, though, picked up drums, and Bat Rider, just as a hero, is fairly bulky. Kezu is going to get sundered on top lane. He'll be able to heal a lot of that back. Now is charging in. Looks like he wants a duel, and he will do just that on the Tusk because Qualifier is here. Avalanche and the Tree Toss will get Kezu that duel victory, but the Tombstone zombies are starting to flood in. Qualifier trying to just body back everyone else, letting Kezu escape, and it will be a success. So it will be perhaps not the most elegant of dual kills, but a dual kill nonetheless. And we also see that Bounty Hunter saw that Courier come in and give, I think, Terrorblade something. It probably just Power Tread, something like that. And he's just posted up. Oh, was almost going to intercept that Courier. But they do lose Madara on this bottom lane thanks to that drum build on the Bat Rider. But they get Kezu's first dual win. And you got to start getting some serious fat on this Legion Commander if you want her to have at all a devastating game versus someone like a Terrorblade.
Yeah, Elsie's pretty okay against Terrorblade, provided she gets the correct one. Like, she needs like a Blade Mail, Blink, that kind of stuff, and then Terrorblade needs to play careful about it.
They're just
Also,
walking right in, man. I don't know if you want to duel an Undying. They are going to both get caught with the shards, and now the coil from Puck, who they did not see come in. And they're both going to just die here. Kezu's going to run to the Bat Rider. Actually, everyone's here. Alright, well, I mean, if you go in and die 2v3, then you're feeling pretty foolish, but if you see 5 heroes there, you're a little bit more okay with that, because no one's in bottom contesting Madara, no one's contesting Koiko's farm. It's costly, yeah, but, I mean, it's costly for both sides.
Yeah, they're kind of happy with that. I'm just looking at this tiny build, right? Normally you'd see people go like an Aquila or a Soul Ring or a Bottle to just manage this mana problem, but he's just sitting there with just treads 1 Shadowblade, and as a result, I don't think he's going to do that one on the mana department. I don't know how he's going to solve this issue. Or even if... I don't even know if he thinks it's an issue, but... If I were him... Yeah, he just bought 2 Clarities, but I don't quite think that's enough. If you look at Tiny's first rotation, he went top, and he assisted on a dual kill on a level 4 support. That's not really the move he wanted to come out of his Shadowblade, but... His farm isn't interrupted, but I think he wanted the Terrorblade or the Puck with a move up top. Definitely the Terrorblade, actually. It just remains to be seen if they can muster together a gank that actually kills the CV. But they have a lot of time. They have a lot of time.
I feel like Tiny is one of those heroes that you can get a lot of gold in the lane, like a ton of gold in the lane, but at a certain point you have to say, okay, you know, I've had enough. I'm going to leave this lane and look for kills, especially if he's going to get jumped like this. He does have 2 points in the grow, so he has a lot of status resistance, but he's taking just a lot of magic damage. Gets purged off by Kezu. Now the grip keeping the Bat Rider in place. Kezu's going to go in for the duel. Koikfa once again going to help him out with the Avalanche Toss, kills off the Bat Rider. As Cinderin's going to be chased out, but he's still at full HP, puts the Puck to sleep. Probably will go down as Davey does pop the... Oh my god, what is that? Undying. Yeah, Cthulhu Golem, I guess. And they will get the kill on the Bane, but we'll lose the Bat Rider for it, and we'll give up a dual kill as now Qualifier is going to find himself in a position when looking for the Terrorblade. Not quite aggressively enough position to get onto him in time. But another trade that goes pretty well for Mad Lads here.
Yeah, it's pretty nice. They get the Batrider, they lose the Bane. They don't lose the Tiny there, which is possibly the most key thing. Tiny doesn't have the mana to kill the Terrorblade. He TP bot with like 150. I think he's probably just going to go Echo Saber next, maybe, just to make sure he has mana, and also it's just nice to make sure you can combo people from 1.6k HP. That's what I would go for at this point. Tiny. Yeah, or he could go Blink, you know. You could just go whatever, but I'm pretty sure he wants to go some item that will give him a bit more damage.
Or he can go.
He's going to catch the Batrider.
Mad King is going to dodge the Avalanche, or Quake was going to miss the Avalanche.
Yeah, I wouldn't call that.
I'm not really sure which one it is. Madara is going to run right in and then spin right out. A full retreat will be successful here, but you know they don't lose anything except for that smoke. It's not the end of the world or anything like that, as they do have the track up finally on the Bounty Hunter. So all these trades that just narrowly go Mad Lad's way will start to really go their way as the Bounty Hunter starts to cash in. So far though, it looks like SQG, they're pretty well grouped up around one another, but not actually going for anything huge. Terrorblade just not yet at that point, having gone for Yasha. Now going to go straight into the Manta style. Definitely an interesting way to go instead of that little bit of extra stat boost from a Lance.
Yeah, I think in this game I would get a Dragon Lance, just for the sake of it, you know. Yasha into Dragon Lance is something I do quite a lot on TB. It's like, and then you can go Manta, you can go Pike, you can go pretty much whatever you want. But the most standard would be like Yasha, Dragon Lance, or Dragon Lance into Yasha, then Manta, then maybe a Hurricane Pike if you need it. And then you really just look at the game and decide from there.
Wish.
Oh, Wish is going to get not killed. Definitely not killed.
King's blinks in, and Madara, well, the Nightmare and the Purge is going to free him from that ultimate. Now coming in there with the spin and the grip. Barrett taking a lot of damage. Duel is up as well. He's still alive, surprisingly enough. Mad King's going to survive the duel, but will go down. Omni Slash now is going to bounce over to Wish. Not quite enough damage. Madara is way too far in at this stage. Gets another heal from the Legion Commander and is going to have enough damage to kill off the puck. Almost kills off Davey with the overwhelming odds, but just falls short. And they really needed just another hero there, but Koikva had his hands full in the mid lane doing something. I'm not really sure what. Still,
he's getting the tower,
like a
I guess.
decent enough fight. 2 for 3. A little bit of extra gold gained on the Mad Lad squad. I think there was at least one of those kills that were tracked up. The Batrider for sure was tracked. And Qualifier gets the tower. So yet another trade where Mad Lads look a little bit rough around the edges, but it just works out a little bit better for them.
Yeah, they're just farming quite a lot. This Jug is sitting on top of the, well, sitting second on the net worth. He's sitting above the Terrorblade, which even with the Battle Fury, I'm not sure this should be the case, because Terrorblade did really well in lane. He got some kills. Like I said, he wasn't doing that amazing, but like Terrorblade's meant to accelerate after the laning phase, and I don't really think he has. I don't quite know where this farm has really gone. But he's going to get his Manta, and that increases farm rate a bit, because you can use the Manta to push out lanes and to kill camps faster and all that kind of stuff. But Tiny's kind of skyrocketing a bit here. He just buys the Sanjin Yasha straight up, which is pretty nice. You get the movement speed, got the damage. The movement speed is incredibly important for Tiny, because ever since they took the movement speed off of Grow, he's felt like the slowest hero in the video game, I can tell you much.
Well, I mean, gigantic rock monster, so...
No, he's meant to be a gigantic speedy rock monster. That was the way the god intended Tiny to be. And that was the way he was for a long time. And Ice Frog had changed that. So we have to change it back. We have to buy these Yashas, these Sanjin Yashas, these Yule Scepters and drums and things.
God damn it, Ice Frog, always playing God. Who does he think he is?
I know, right? It's awful.
The nerve of these guys. He does have the Sanjin Yasha, does have the Shadow Blade, so he is zoomerating. 455. Also note, Clarity is still being purchased on this Tiny because he doesn't have any mana regeneration items at all. Buryu is going to get spotted by an Ob Sentry combo, so they know more or less where he is.
And he's walked into another Sentry as well.
Oh, they actually just literally see him. So, Ripperino Bounty Hunter, they're going to team up 3 heroes to kill him off. And they will also go for this bottom lane push at the same time, but top lane is also being pushed. Tiny doesn't need mana regeneration if his only plan is to go and hit buildings, and so far, that's pretty much all Koikva has been doing. Push down mid, push down top.
Oh, he's just farming a lot.
Kazoo is going to find Davey here, immediately gripped, and they will have a free duel win. Easy kill on the Undying on the bottom of net worth chart with Tusk not looking all that much better. Kind of a problem here with these two supports is that they really do shine if they're going to get into very early game engagements or kind of smaller skirmishes, 3v3s and stuff like that, but those just haven't been happening. Or at least they haven't been in position to enable those to happen.
Yeah, they're not really able to move around the map very effectively. Like, Bounty Hunter's just kind of running into them and giving them a free kill every now and again, but it's really not that much. He gave them, what, 241 gold on the puck, so... yeah. Oh, that's a coil. And Bounty's been maybe killed again? No, he's going to be okay. So he survives this one. He's had a really rough game. He's like... I think Bruce is constantly just trying to scout out the positions of the puck and the supports. Oh, Davi's just dead. And as a result, he's running into these sentries a lot.
I mean, yeah, Bounty hasn't really cashed in all that much, but it seems like every single time he is going to get picked off, or he's just attracting a lot of attention away from, namely, top lane, it seems. Tower's down at that point, and now over in mid lane, Quake from Madara both going to go for this tower and are absolutely going to wreck it. They also have eyes on Mad Kings, so they could disable his Blink Dagger or just jump on him if they want to do that. That's good too. Toss a whole bunch of shit at him. RVP's going to get in there and try to help out, but it's not going to be in time. Snowball is going to save the Tusk there, but now Tricky's isolated as the Manta Style is on the run, gets gripped, however, and is going to go down to a big hit from Koikva. Davey is now isolated, does kill off this Bounty Hunter, but he's already tracked. So the Bounty Hunter is still going to get a little bit of dough here as Kezu and Cinder are going to chase down the Undying, kill him off as well. And now in the mid lane, the push continues. They've only lost the Bounty. They barely lost any HP on anyone else. They're going to take racks in 20 minutes.
Yep, Tiny's going to take this building. He's just chomping through it. This Terrorblade really just 1.1k HP doesn't do anything. He got Omni Slash for half his HP, and then Cinderin comes in with a Fiend's Grip, and Quaker finishes him off, and there's really nothing that he can do about it. In this kind of situation, with SQG's draft, you need the lanes to be pushed out, you need to avoid fights, you need to wait until Terrorblade has reached the point where he doesn't die in an Omni Slash. He doesn't die in a Fiend's Grip, you know? He needs to be saved by the Tuskar or something like that, but they're just not in a position where they can do that. And as a result, they just need to push out some waves, hope they don't lose to this next Roche.
I honestly thought that SQG would have more towers by now. Like, the Terrorblade has not used many Metamorphoses in order to kill off the structures. Like, top lane is still almost perfectly healthy. They'll walk in,
the
grab
Metamorphoses
the
have not really
Aegis,
worked.
and now Mad King's up in the air. Maybe we'll be able to get some initiation off. He's going to have to go for the Legion Commander. We'll do a lot of damage onto him. But the coil dropped as well. Kazu's taking a lot of focus, but drops a huge overwhelming odds. Koikva's putting up a pretty decent fight as well. Dara's trying to focus down the Tombstone. He's not actually doing any damage to anyone else. He's taking a lot of damage in the process. Will lose his Aegis, as Koikva's immediately going to buy back. They'll lose everyone else, though. And the buyback from the Tiny, I don't know if he can get into Madara fast enough. He's getting chased down by literally the entire enemy side. And he will be going down here, as Koikva is going to be unable to rejoin the fight. SQG, clean house here as they get great initiation. The Tombstone placement is immaculate. And yeah, they're actually all able to survive. They actually use all their spells this time. The coil, the lasso, none of which were used in the last fight.
Yeah, the last fight, what happened was the Terrorblade just died, and this time he gets the Sunder off, he puts Tiny to basically 200 health, and then Tiny dies. And Tiny doesn't get any damage out, Juggernaut doesn't get any damage out, and you can see that the Terrorblade and the Batrider did like 3k damage each in that fight. And fighting under Tombstone, fighting where there's a sigil, like Terrorblade didn't even have meta and they crushed that fight. And Buryu donates himself because charity is always a good thing.
What a good guy. Making this game a little bit more even, making it a little more interesting for the fans.
Ooh, it was a 12k lead and now it's a 6k lead, and that quick for buyback is really going to hurt him because now he was like sitting 3k above the Terrorblade and now he's sitting neck and neck with him. And you don't really want to be behind or even either this Tiny versus Terrorblade because that matchup is real bad. Tiny struggles with Terrorblade a lot.
Same thing for the Juggernaut, really. Like,
yeah, Juggernaut's in the same situation.
Terrorblade has a lot of armor. You do have the cleave, which is kind of nice for the illusions, but usually you don't end up killing him quite fast enough. Even with an Omni Slash, like this fact that he has Manta Style and of course that extra illusion from the Conjure usually means that Omni Slash is not going to do exactly what you want it to do. This Terrorblade, if he's able to get a little bit more cash, win a couple more fights,
smoke into smoke.
kill off a few more bounty hunters, it could be huge, but they are a little bit slow on the upkeep there. And bounty hunter will blow the smoke, walk away. Safe plays here from Mad Lads as they're actually smoked up as well. Maybe they're looking to get a jump in on their own, but without the bounty hunter scouting, because there's so many sentries and so many true sight threats in the area, it will be a lot more difficult to get in there. They don't have a great initiator. Shadow Blade on Tiny is usually pretty good, but not when you also have a bounty hunter on your team. There's going to be sentries everywhere.
Yeah, well, he broke that smoke. He broke the 5,000 smoke coming out from SQG, so that's pretty good. Terrorblade's gone back for the Dragon Lance. Undying, no items to speak of. Tusk, no items to really speak of. Puck's finished the Lincolns and has now got 2k gold on top of that, but I don't really think his next item matters a huge amount. But we'll be seeing, can SQG kind of beta fight in their own base, because I don't think they need to leave the base. Okay, Fury breaks another smoke.
Up is going to force Staff away, and then now the Bat Rider is going to get immediately gripped, and Omni Slash, which will immediately crush him. Although they are in an awkward position where on the high ground, and Madar's on the low ground, is going to have to try to spin and kill off the Tombstone from a distance. Not going to happen. He's not nearly tanky enough to survive that Terrorblade. Synderen gets caught up in it as well. As now Buryu is completely trapped thanks to those shards from the low ground. That's going to be 3. Kezu is going to retreat. He'll have none of that. Koikfa didn't even join the fight. He will have literally none of that. And, I mean, that's a decent opening, I guess, but I mean, you gotta assume that if you go for a kill like that, then literally the entire SQG team is gonna be there. Because why wouldn't they be? Where else would they be?
Yeah, they went on the Bat Rider. That was how they won the fight before they took the Midrax. But this time, Terrorblade just kind of killed everyone. They did lose the Bat Rider, but I'm pretty sure they're okay with that, given that Terrorblade's net worth is now sitting at 2nd. He's still behind the Tiny, but well, Tiny actually farmed a lot recently. He's finished up in AC as well. But he's also giving that AC to the Terrorblade, so he needs to be careful about that. Wish has finished up his Blink, which is really, really important. Now he can get that Blink save from no matter where he is in the fight, so he can make sure this Fiend's Grip really doesn't get anything done. Puck barely getting away. He's going to coil, but I don't think he needed to do that.
Well, better safe than dead up against Legion Commander. So they are going to draw out the coil, but not the longest cooldown in the world, so should be fine still. They'll immediately smoke up afterwards. And, man, those last 2 fights, near the Roche Pit, the one that we just saw, really what's kicking ML's ass at this point is I think the fact that they have all these melee heroes, and they're taking fights up and around cliffs, where they just can't navigate them. Whereas Puck, Bat Rider, Terrorblade, like, they have enough range and effective abilities to actually get around these cliffs. Snowball going to save the Bat Rider's ass for at least for a little while. Still, he's not in a great spot to get the duel onto the Terrorblade. Can they kill him off? They're not actually doing much damage to him. Omni Slash, I think he's Omni Slashing. Can't really see any damage output as they will finally get the grip onto the TP. Another huge Soul Rip's going to keep him alive. And Tricky will finally go down, but at the trade for Madara, they have focused onto the Tombstone's finally going to get cleaned up, or perhaps it's a little bit too late. The damage has already been done with the Soul Rip. Will kill off Buryu. Davey will trade his life for it as Koikfa is now in this fight for real. Snowball is not going to do mush. Oh, actually, he's going to blink out of there before they can kill him off, and is still throwing in those shards. Synderen, 5 stacks of napalm, puts himself to sleep for reasons, and then immediately dies to RVP. Koikfa
he was trying to stop the
not chased enough, and again, they are just getting literally danced around as they just can't keep up to the targets they really need to.
I mean, they got the Terrorblade, because the Terrorblade used Sunder, and he didn't actually change any HP, so I'm wondering what he actually sundered there. I couldn't quite see, but the Terrorblade not getting an effective Sunder there cost him his life, but the Fiend's Grip afterwards made sure they got that kill on him, which is really, really important. But the Jug is like, he's kamikaze at this point. You saw he goes in for some damage, and then he's got no way of getting out. He's just stuck with his Metamorphosis Terrorblade hitting it, and as any Jug player knows, that's painful. You can't really do much about it. You look at Juggernaut's armor, he's sitting at 18. Terrorblade, when he's sitting in Metamorphosis, hits for about 300. So, yeah, he just kind of dies. And when the Terrorblade gets Scardy, that makes Jug's game even harder. So, I'm pretty sure that Mad Lads are operating on some kind of timer here, because looking at the support levels again, we've got 13 on Bane, who just finishes Aetherlands, and we've got 9 on Bounty, compared to 15 and 14 on Undying. The Undying's going to get out of hand, I'm pretty sure, soon. I don't know how they actually take fights when the Undying gets like the Tombstone and then the Tombstone on Death, and Tusk starts getting even more snowball saves. You mentioned it with the 3 melee heroes versus Bat Rider Terrorblade. I'm not really sure how it just feels clunky, you know.
You just gotta get in really fast, kill off that one guy. Ideally, it's someone like a Bat Rider, but you'll take whoever, and then, I mean, at this point, getting rid of that snowball save, that could be incredibly valuable. Getting rid of the tombstone, and we saw that Soul Rip actually healed that Terrorblade, like, it looked like 600 HP or something like that. It was pretty ridiculous. And not to mention the fact that he's also just got Flesh Golem just sitting in the area, amplifying that Terrorblade's effectiveness. Buryu is going to once again get kicked off here.
He got the courier this time, though.
Yeah, Gem is on the Bat Rider, so this is really tough for the Bounty Hunter. A little bit tough for the Tiny as well. Like, they really just don't have any way of getting in safely because they're only reliant, or solely reliant on these invisibility tools that are being countered.
Yeah, I think Radiant's lineup is a lineup that works from ahead. They are a snowball lineup. They've got an LC and a Tiny cause. These two are just snowball heroes. And when Bounty Hunter goes 0-10, gets one courier snipe all game, this is not what they picked the Bounty Hunter for. And as a result, when they start losing fights, they were ahead, they were doing okay, there were racks up still, but this is the point where it just gets really difficult. Every fight needs to be almost perfect from Mad Lads if they want to have a chance at this now. Even with the 7k gold lead, it still feels very difficult. They're going to hover around this Roshan and maybe hope to use that, but Puck's going to push out mid.
Long time to wait for Roche. They are walking over a Dire Obs as well, so they are fully revealed. Mad Kings looking for Kezu, is going to find Kezu, gets gripped up, so he can't really drag him back, but RVP's going to get in there and actually interrupt that. So Kezu's actually been able to do something, try to go for that Puck first of all, and they will be able to take him down, immediately force the buyback, but zero pressure is on Tricky in the background. He's just firing off on whoever he feels like it. At the same time, Madara dropping pretty low, being chased out by the Terrorblade. He's trying to spin himself out of here. The right clicks way too much. Will kill off Madara, will kill off Cinderin, and they've lost only the Puck who was forced to buy out there. But again, it's for like the 5th time in a row, the Mad Lad side getting initiated upon, even though that was a little bit clunky because of the Bane interruption there. It's still, like, Mad Lads can't start fights.
It's very difficult. Like, they got the Phoenix Grip off on the Bat Rider, they stopped the lasso, but then Puck just blinks in, cancels that, and they still got him. Yeah, they got the Puck as a result, but these fights are just rough. The Tiny has got his BKB now, so I don't know how much that's going to really change, because there is the Scardy on Terrorblade, there is like Sigil that you can actually block, so he's going to stop a few things like the Bat Rider spells, the Coil, but the TB is the concern. He just straight up murdered Madara in the last fight. And I can't see his gold right now for some reason. Okay, he's got 1k. He's not that close to the butterfly, but he's got Meta up. They're positioned around Roche, which isn't going to be up for another minute or two. I'm just looking at this Bounty, man. He's struggling. I don't know how Bounty has an impact in these fights at this point.
Radiant's middle tower
Track up
is under
everyone
attack.
and
Just hope that's enough.
that. Like, usually it's like you sit back, throw a couple tracks here and there. But if you do that, you're up against a Bat Rider with gems, so like they'll just immediately jump on you and kill you after the first track. So you actually just like can't do anything unless you're like in the middle of that chaotic fight and the enemies kind of lose track of you. Which is possible, it's just not very likely. They're going to make a retreat after taking down that tier 2 tower. And they will retreat into the Bounty Hunter. Gem is a little bit out of range. The Bounty Hunter is going to get some intel here. But he can't do anything here, so it's like, yeah, we see them retreating into our bottom lane. Whoop-de-doo.
Yeah, Puck's just going to farm bot. He's working towards the Shiva's Guard, working towards the dagger that he's got the Shiva's, working towards the Dagon.
Radiant are scanning.
Roshan is spawning soon, though. Very soon. Now, actually. If they can get themselves a double life, or cheese, let's say on Jug and Tiny, respectively, then they have a decent shot, and SQG currently not in position to deal with this. Again, if the targets aren't moving, then Mad Lads do a hell of a lot of damage, but they are going to be spotted by a random Terrorblade illusion. And now trying to rush it down. Oh, this looks like a sticky situation up against a Bat Rider. They will smoke out Although
Smoke
the
out,
shards
and they're gonna wrap
the scout
around.
from the
The
illusion
mark
will
is
see
being
that they
drawn.
have abandoned ship. Mad Lads, they need to get the high ground. If they get initiated upon again, that's going to be a disaster. Mad King's Tricky in a bad spot, but Tricky in the front will still be fine to disengage, as Kezu just going to try to charge in, taking so much damage on the initiation. Barrier's almost dead, in fact, before the fight even starts. Tricky's not even involved in this fight yet, and already Mad Lads have already lost one hero. Looking at two, they've only picked up one duel so far, as Madara's getting torn to shreds by Tricky. Will fall as well. Now the chase is on for the final two, Qualifier, Kezu. They are going to be chased out by a lot of zombies. Puck has a blink dagger, not in time it looks like. They're a little bit too quick. But Tricky wasn't even in that fight. Like, he didn't use Metamorphosis until, like, the Juggernaut started to TP away. And still, they just absolutely crushed them because of that Tombstone, which is unanswered, the Flesh Golem. I mean, Davey survives that fight and ends up at literally full HP, so there's nothing that Mad Lads can really do here. They will try to... Oh, and they will successfully kill Roche. That's kind of nice, but it's not going to help them much.
It's kind of nice, but it's not enough. Yeah, they went for that wraparound. You saw the little line drawn by Kezu. He was like, okay, guys, let's go around from the back. And then they broke the smoke, and then they're faced with a Puck and a Terrorblade. Terrorblade instantly hits Madza, Puck instantly blinks away. And then Kezu's just like, well, they've seen me now. I guess I just need to BKB and go in. So he does. And as a result, he doesn't get anything. And then I think Cinderin got the Fiend Script on the Batrider from across the fight, and then it gets cancelled, and Mad Kings was just fine. Madara dies as Madara does in this game, because it's really rough Juggernaut game against Terrorblade at this point. I feel bad for him, I really do.
Hey, at least he does have this Battle Fury, so at least he can get still a little bit of extra cash in the game. It doesn't seem like it'll ever get to a point again in this game where he'll be able to sit and man fight the Terrorblade or, you know, really do anything of the sort. But, you know, the Butterfly here, get a Bloodthorn or something, I don't know. There's definitely things that Madara can still do in this game because he picked up the Battle Fury at a pretty reasonable timing. So it's not all over for him, but it's definitely like way past the timing that Mad Lads were expecting.
Yeah, in this game they're going to have to go a bit later, I think. They need to avoid fights for a while. They need to split push a bit with this Tiny. They have a Tiny with an AC. They can take buildings whenever they want. They still have Juggernaut with Spin TP, so he's safe from all but the Batrider and the Tut. Actually, Spin TP is bloody useless this game, isn't it? I didn't even notice that. Okay. So Quaker's going to push out this top lane. They're going to set up shop in the enemy jungle. They've got both lanes pushing in there, so they need to do something about this quite quickly.
Looks like SQG gonna start split pushing first, trying to look for those openings. They do have the Aegis, they do have the Cheese. Cheese on Puck. And, ooh, Puck very, very close here to having, I assume, an Aghanim Scepter. That's an Aghanim Scepter coil coming up in just 300 gold. Should be able to get that and then look to make a little bit of a push into Rax.
Yeah, when he gets that, he can stun Tiny for a whole 1.5 seconds. It's going to be really impressive, I can't wait. And he's also going to stun the LC and the Tiny for a very long time, but I just like pointing out how things affect Tiny. Like Lasso will last about half a second. It's pretty nice. DD Terrorblade. Here we go.
He's still got a little bit of double damage in here, and Feeble is going to kick in. And suddenly he's not hitting all that hard, but they don't have any true sight on the front lines. Quakefa is going to land an avalanche to the Terrorblade, tosses him out.
Go away.
Get out of my base. And Tricky's going to be like, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to Metamorph, I'm going to kill your buildings. Mad King's up on the high ground does no longer have the gem. The Tiny's actually the gem holder.
They're getting split push.
So
Bruce
True
got
Sight is
spotted.
not useless here. Tiny Illusion, though, is going to give this push a little bit of extra speed from the reflection, and the Rax slowly but surely chipped out. Top lane Madara is split pushing in the meantime. They are going to toss away with the grip. Madara is going to town on top, though. Someone's got to deal with this. And the Shuriken is going to cancel 1, 2 TPs. Tricky's going to make it back, but Madara's already claimed the top Rax. That is how Bounty Hunter makes a contribution to this game, by canceling TPs. Mission success. That's Rax gained for Mad Lads, and what was gained for SQG? A Bounty Hunter kill, just like usual.
Yep, everything's as it normally is, but yeah, that top Rax, I don't know, like the Terrorblade put his TP in his inventory like when they were pushing that, so he expected to have to TP back. But then no one really did, because he got removed from the base in a Fiend Script. He couldn't really do anything. It was up to the Batrider and the Tusk to get back, and one of those TPs got cancelled, so yeah, Jug just gets a free Rax, and It's, well, now the game changes. Like, it's easy to come back against, like, just when you lose 1 Rex, right? But when you lose 2 Rex, it then becomes, okay, guys, we need to keep these 2 lanes pushed out at all times. Like, when you go missing from the map, it's obvious because the creeps will start pushing into your base very quickly. You only have this 1 lane, which you can really kind of rely on. And you realize if you lose 1 fight, then it's megas, so... Terrorblade's now starting to... He's getting caught up by the LC and the Juggernaut at this point, which Terrorblade still does fine, but Terrorblade's peak, I think, comes around like the 30-minute mark when he gets his first Rosh, when he gets his Manta, gets his Skadi, when he's so much stronger than everybody else. But now, if you look, he does his 300 damage, which is about the same as he did before, maybe a bit more. But now you've got a Tiny with an AC, you've got Juggernaut with a Butterfly, you've got Legion Commander with a Halberd and a Solar Crest. Like, these heroes don't die instantly like they did before. So, Terrorblade now starts to fall off a little bit. Not completely, he's still a Terrorblade, but he's not as strong as he was.
Yeah, it's important to make that distinction of he isn't as strong compared to every other hero, and that would be the case if it was in that 30-minute timing. Still very, very strong, but the gap is closing
it's all relative
compared to his competitors. Still, it's a situation where, as you said, 2 racks makes the game much more different. I mean, the Terrorblade, he can push waves with single illusions. You can throw him in, and that'll give a little bit of momentum. But usually, as we can see, like, the illusion times out, the creep wave still then pushes towards the Dire base. Terrorblade himself doesn't have any AoE. Puck has some AoE, and he can blow up creep waves at a decent rate. Tusk, Undying, Batrider, like, they don't really clear creep waves very well. At least when you compare it to the fact that there's a Tiny on the other end, there's a Juggernaut on the other end with the Battle Fury. And even at this point, Legion Commander, like, she's got plus 102.
Oh, Biryu.
You got the Bounty Hunter scouting all the time, like, you know, for value. So, I'm not sure if they can actually, without smoking up and sacrificing a little bit of their base, get out onto the map before the creeps start pushing down their tier 4s.
Yeah, they have a real problem pushing out creep waves. Like, Terrorblade with illusions can do something, but every now and again they'll just get picked off and then he won't be able to push out the lanes that effectively. But TP should be able to deal with this. Like, one of his illusions with Butterfly now is able to kill a creep wave almost by itself, so... It's just a question of... He's got his reflection talent, he's working towards a Lincoln Sphere, but his damage output isn't enough at this point. Qualifier going to not push bot, so he's a bit scared. He's now realizing that maybe he should be pushing this bot tower.
Just a Terrorblade illusion. Top lane, the Terrorblade's lane. Will at the 40-minute mark take that tower. TP's
is Puck going to get the catch? He is.
Or the Tiny Coil is going to drop. He's just going to BKB TP out of there. Lasso's going to cancel. This is a lot of tools used to do so far no damage. As Qualifier with the BKB is just going to walk right out of there. Healing Ward going to give him so much juice thanks to that percentage healing. Going to Yules him up as Madara's going to get to work on that Tombstone. And with the Soul Rip, they won't quite be able to clean it up instantly, but the Terrorblade's not here, so there's no damage coming into this fight. And now the turnaround onto the Batrider will kill him off before the Snowball can save. Terrorblade is going to arrive finally and will kill off Madara. But maybe it's a little bit too late because everyone else is already disengaging. Wish going to catch Kezu on the backswing, and it looks like Kezu is probably pretty screwed here. Deep into the trees, has a blink out, probably to the south. Yep. The Puck, where's the Puck? He has an orb in a couple seconds. Kezu has a TP right now. They'll take Jug, lose the Batrider. And that is Metamorphosis used for kind of a mediocre fight, honestly. I think Mad Lads should be okay with that.
Yep, they trade 1 for 1. That means there's time for all the other lanes to push in a bit. It means that all 5 heroes of the Dire have been sent to the bot lane, and Qualifier gets to push in the creep. Well, that's just regular programming, isn't it? Alright, let's look at some items. Cinderin has not changed. He's got the Glimmer Cape and Aether Lens, and he's happy with that. Quakef's working towards a Daedalus. LC has almost the Mjolnir now. Madara, he's about to buy an MKB. Madara just kind of kills himself instantly when he gets reflected by Terrorblade, so he needs to be a bit careful about that. And Biryu, he has his Lotus, but it didn't really save him. So he's still sitting on 0-14, but he's providing valuable scouting information and making sure the important members of his team don't get picked off.
So Legion Commander is level 25 at this point. Has picked up a Maelstrom, is going to go for a Mjolnir. So press the attack cooldown is now kind of silly. I mean, 3 seconds. So you get a lot of regen, you get a lot of debuffing, you get a lot of attack speed, and when you're working with the Mjolnir, that can certainly do a lot. Jug's not at that 25 mark. Tiny is. 3 tosses, very, very useful, but I don't know. It seems like in these fights, he hasn't really been put into a situation where multiple tosses would have really helped him, even if he had it before. Definitely levels coming up in spades, and you know, Puck's heading towards his as well. Legion Commander first, 25% EXP gain. Definitely showing up.
Yeah, that talent is pretty nice. It's one of the few XP talents that I actually think is worth it. Although I'd still probably personally take the strength over it most of the time, but getting to that 25 is pretty nice. 3-second cooldown means that Aghanim's Coil, Batrider Lasso, all of these things are not going to be that much of a threat anymore, provided that Kezu is able to cast spells.
Oh, the long-range grip onto the Batrider. Can they pick him up for anything else? Lots of damage onto him. He will get put into the snowball and will be saved. The Tombstone, though, is being focused, this time without any sort of punishment. And how can they disengage away from this? Qualifier is going to snowball him towards Wish, and oh, now he's going to force to pop the BKB, try to stack him up, try to disengage. His allies are kind of filtering in through a funnel here. This could be really dangerous. Tricky's in the front lines, trying to push them all back with the threat of Reflection. He is going to do just that. Madara's kind of getting his ass kicked by his illusion. Damn, that damage is insane. When you go for a butterfly, your illusion hits really hard. But ultimately,
when he goes for his MKB, he's going to hit even harder. Yeah, no one dies. Tiny used all of his spells. They tried to kill the Batrider. He managed to survive because of the Tusk save, and the Tusk blinks out, Batrider blinks out. And Puck doesn't really do that much damage, so he can't really like punish them for going for that kill. There's a smoke get coming. Kezu are going to lead it.
I think. Go for the Observer Ward. What can possibly happen? Once again, the line is drawn by Kezu. Same exact play as before. Mad Kings is going to be taking to the skies and is scouting in the wrong direction. Radiant Scan does stay red, but it goes green. And now the Dire Scan stays green, but then goes red. So they've caught, well, the Bounty Hunter. That's going to be a gem turnover. But that's Tombstone deployed on the high ground. Kind of a long cooldown, considering the fact that they probably don't need their Bounty Hunter to fight.
They see Qualifier on the ward, but they decide not to go for him. They're going to go for the Roche instead. Alright, the play here for Mad Lads is to go straight bot. You need to run to that bot tower and you need to kill it now. You need to threaten this bot Rax and make sure that they cannot pressure your high ground. Because that Roche is gone.
On the Terrorblade.
No TP on Terrorblade, and no TP on the Puck either. But they'll get back in time, but they just need to force them back here.
The attack on the Qualifier. Look at that tree branch go. Blink in, duel immediately onto the Batrider, but again immediately, there's the snowball in response. There's only 2 heroes here, and they will kill off the Batrider with that grip. As now Wish and Davy are in an awkward spot. They need some damage help, but the heroes that can contribute that damage, they don't have TPs. Okay, they will start to retreat now as Wish going to try to catch Madara on the backswing. Shards once again going to catch him. Omni Slash straight away is going to jump over towards Tricky. Will do a lot of damage, but gets sundered immediately, so all that damage is turned back into him. Now pulled back with the lasso, is going to go down. Cinder Coil is going to try to TP out, not going to happen. Also with the Walrus Punch, they found the Legion Commander. She's disarmed, so you can't do anything, and will be forced to run. Batrider does have a blink and a Yule Scepter. Kezu will be thrown up into the air, will fall into Firefly, so no blink available here for the Legion Commander. Stuck in a corner, will go down as well. And ultimately, the Aegis Refresher Shard cheese was picked up. Looks like Puck has 2 cheeses. The Terrorblade has double Metamorphosis at the ready, and the push is going to be coming in, I gotta assume, soon.
Yeah, this is rough. They can't really take fights. They didn't manage to get away before the Terrorblade and the Puck arrived. I think if they got that bot tower, and then they got out, that would have been fine. But it's actually really, really hard to disengage versus Tusk, versus Batrider, versus Puck. There's just so much catch. Qualifier sitting top lane. He has his tree. He's got his triple toss, but he doesn't have enough mana ready to use any of it. But he'll probably push out this top wave and then try and exert some pressure, force them back. But I don't think there's a way he can. In fact, he's just hiding.
At least he has a TP. He will be able to get back here for the defense. It looks like Legion, though, level 25 has that long death timer, and is probably not going to be involved in any sort of defense. Bottom tier 3 was taken in that earlier engagement, so they will be able to go for a quick 2 racks, even up the rack score if they want to. Pressure Shard popped up.
They're going for it.
He's just going to gun for the racks. He is hit with the Enfeeble, so not hitting all that hard. But no one's hitting him back, so you could just sit here all day long and take it. Tower is going to be dropped. We'll get the grip once again into the Batrider. Once again, the snowball is going to save them. Time and time again, Wish is going to bail out his bat, and they'll kill out the Tiny in the process. He's forced to buy out now, as the Puck is hit with that Nightmare in an awkward spot for sure, but is going to drop the coil onto 2 with the Terror Blade, getting all the space in the world just to right-click the Ancient. Zinder's going to get picked off. They'll toss RVP several times, pick up the Aegis, but that's it so far. As Tricky's going to run out of Metamorphosis kind of soon, has to fall back and will go for the racks instead. Tombstones everywhere, still on the floor. No one's really taking them out quick enough as Qualifier is going to die back. Keizu now on the run. Eye of Scotty slowing him down just a little bit, but now focusing their attention on the Ancient proper. And it looks like without any time, they lack the clearing here. The Sunder onto the Juggernaut, going to drop him very low with the Walrus Punch as well. He'll go down. He does have a buyback, trying to rejoin this fight. Duel goes off onto the TV, but again, the snowball save is going to be there. He's immortal, it seems. Tricky starting to drop a little bit low, will go down. The Ancient's still alive right now, as Mad Lads might be doing it, might be cleaning up their base, but Dara with the right clicks will clean up the rest. But here comes Terror Blade again. The Tombstone still on the deck. This time will be cleared up, and Tricky's going to return and kill off the Ancient. GG. Swiss Quality Gaming, SQG, will stay live in MDL and knock out Mad Lads.
Well, they were given an inch and they took a mile, so that's what happens. We saw it before yesterday. Terror Blade, he gets a little bit, and oh man, Mad Lads got that Aegis, and then they just ran up into high ground and just got absolutely slaughtered. And then again and again, they took team fight after team fight, and I don't think they can. I don't think they were ready to take team fights versus this lineup, but they couldn't split the map up enough to make sure they didn't have to. So it's just a rough game for Madara. He's playing Jug in a game where you don't want to be playing Jug. Like, half of his fights were just killing the Tombstone. I think this 5 position on dying really, really worked out for them, especially given the fact that he was getting regular cash injections from the enemy bounty.
It's pretty crazy how Undying, it feels like you're in the early game, didn't really do Undying things as you would really expect, and then shows up huge in the mid game. Like, the Tombstone was just unkillable from Mad Lads. Like, maybe even debatably they put too much emphasis into killing the Tombstone and just not ignoring it enough.
I mean, ignoring it is still so scary because all of these heroes like Jug, Tiny, they can't handle the zombies on them. They just can't deal with it. They need to kill it. Like, playing fights with 3 melee cores versus Tombstone versus Terrorblade versus Barret and Puck, like, all this slow, all of this stuff, it's like that Tombstone stays alive for even maybe like 8 seconds or something like that. There's like 3 zombies on everyone. Everyone's already slow. Like, you need BKBs to even move around. That's why they need to focus this Tombstone. It's just everything stacked against them if they're playing team fights against this die lineup with even net worth. They were meant to be playing from ahead, and that stopped being the case even though they were 10 gold ahead after the first Roche fight.
Well, guys, that's going to be the end of the best of 1. And it's going to mean that SQG move forward just a little bit, now have to face up against Going In, which is great for us because we haven't had any rematches in this group, which is fantastic. You know, just nice, clean, everyone plays everyone type of style. So SQG going up against Going In, pretty much X-Penta, if you guys know them as that name, which you probably do, is going to be coming up in probably like 10-15 minutes or something like that. So guys, you definitely don't want to miss it. The winner of that also goes into the playoffs along with Kingwin, and from Group A, that was Singularity. Guys, we got OG and Moriarty on the other stream as well, so be sure to stick in and multi-twitch it up, something like that. I'm Mikelorus. I've been joined by Rhyme. Again, probably 10-15 minutes for the next match.